Thank you everyone for showing up to this human-centered AI transformation event. This is presented to you by Skill Up in Network Orlando. My name is R.E.L.A.T.E. I'm the event organizer for Skill Up in Network Orlando. Just an overview of our organization. We are a group of professionals and entrepreneurs committed to personal and professional growth and networking with like-minded individuals. So if you're looking to grow your network, strengthen your professional and personal skill set, and be stronger, more confident, this group is for you. Right? So like I said, this event is human-centered AI transformation. Our guest speaker is Julia Fu, and I'll let her introduce herself, and we can begin.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Ariwa, for the introduction. Maybe let me start sharing my screen so we can start from there. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, let me know if you can see the screen, the slide showed up.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share some of my thoughts and wisdom in the AI space. So as everyone mentioned, the topic really is focusing on human-centered AI transformation. So I wanted to use the next 15 minutes to share talk a little bit about the topic, and happy to kind of if folks have any other questions or wanted to follow up, I also include my contact information at the end. Happy to connect. So a little bit about me. I'm working at Microsoft. I lead AI transformation for our enterprise sales organization. And also I founded a global AI business community of over 4,500 people globally. And I often kind of provide like AI educational session to the community on a regular basis. I'm also recently got selected as Global Fellow for AI 2030 Responsible AI Initiatives. So working with different institutions, organizations, leaders to kind of define what a future responsible AI should look like, regulations, policies, etc. And I'm also guest speaker and a thought leader at Harvard AI for Human Flourishing Group. I am very passionate about that space is because really I think the goal of AI is really to help us humans to unlock our potential so we can achieve human flourishing as the goal. So spend a lot of time there, also kind of develop thought leadership piece and share kind of having a lot of discussion with the experts in this area. So I'm very happy to kind of present today here for this group. So without further ado, I will kind of move forward. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I want to first share kind of a little bit stats from what I see in the markets, kind of level set of context for why I want to have this conversation. Because I think from the past, like just looking at back like 2-3 years, right? So a lot of assignments at the beginning, and then as it's starting to showing the impact on the society, etc. And we're starting seeing kind of some interesting kind of aspects of that. Like, for example, 50% of people feel more concerned, excitement now, concerned about could include job, right? Impact on job and what's the future look like. And also 67% experience some kind of decision fatigue, because a lot of time AI can spin out a lot of information and then just overwhelm, goes through it and decide what to do. And another kind of interesting kind of aspect of that is what the future really looks like, right? It's to understanding what's the AI capability, what's the limitation, what will lead to is kind of we're seeing a lot of the sentiment around AI. So what And I would say why, you might have the question, why, like a lot of people have this kind of feelings, emotions. I would say this is actually the psychology, I call it psychology of AI emotions. There's driven by a couple of triggers. So first of all, in overall, how our human kind of operates is that oftentimes when facing uncertainty, we'll feel discomfort. So I think you can think about a lot of different situations, right? If you don't know what's going on, you definitely feel, oh, a little bit kind of discomfort. And the second is AI challenges control and identity, because a lot of time you just feel like AI is becoming smarter, more intelligent. Then what does that mean, right? What we are kind of invaluable, what we stand for. And then the last part is the speed of change is overwhelming. I think for anyone follow the AI news, each every day there's a lot of happening around the world. So you might feel like, oh, kind of how I can catch up, kind of keep up with all the changes. So, but I want to say, if we in psychology we say we can kind of change our mind, right? Like reframe the situation. So if we flip that, sometimes the discomfort actually not necessarily always negative. It could potentially also be a growth opportunity where you can kind of further develop yourself. So that's kind of I wanted to kind of give you a sense of that. In that case, what really the focus we want to talk about here is how we can shift ourselves from a reaction mode to AI to start to build a relationship with AI. Because we can't stop AI's evolution. No one can stop it, because just looking at the past 2-3 years, the evolution is getting faster and faster, right? So that I don't think anyone going to stop it. But we have the choice is to shape our relationship with it. So that I think is fundamentally important, one of us to think about. Here I want to give a little bit definition or kind of how we should be looking at reaction and relationship. Reaction is really automatic, unconscious, oftentimes driven by fear or habit. But relationship is intentional and conscious, usually built on awareness and choice. So for us as human, I think we have the ability to intentionally kind of make those conscious decisions. We have that capability. I want each of you feel confident about that. And then so the difference really between these two states determine whether AI becomes something that happens to us or something we can grow with. So that can help us to do more good for us, right? For the society as a humanity as overall. And I think this is really a pivot point. The moment we shift from being kind of swept along by technology change to becoming conscious co-creator of our future. So that's kind of is super, super important. So how we can do this? That's why I want to introduce you to this R.E.L.A.T.E framework. I think it's a path for us to build a conscious relationship with AI. Let me quickly show you what the 6 steps are. So the first step is really to reflect, aware of current patterns, how we use AI today, what's our relationship with AI. And then the second stage is engage. Engage in a way with more curiosity versus fear. I think with fear, we cannot achieve anything. With curiosity, opens a totally new world. So that's the second phase. The third phase is learn, building comprehensive literacy around AI, not just how the tool works, right? How to use it for work. Actually, also understand emotional and ethical literacies. So to build a very comprehensive understanding of that. I know a lot of people spend a time in this phase. I think probably that's a very interesting space for us to explore more as well. And the fourth phase is really align. It's aligning human value with AI value. So I think that's super, super important as well. The fifth space is trust. Trust is looking at how we can be very confidently using and interact with AI. The last phase is evolve. It's continuous co-create with AI. So this is what I call the R.E.L.A.T.E framework. Let me go through, share with you each phase, and so go into a little bit details. Okay, the first phase, reflect. Reflectors really make the invisible visible to kind of help us to be aware, become conscious of our interaction with AI. So the key question here really is, how am I already interacting with AI every day? So that's a great question. Sometimes when we kind of start our day or after we interact with AI, we can pause and think and just reflect on how I'm using AI, right, every day. Because really awareness is the very first step for us towards transformation. Because a lot of time we interact with AI, will kind of without conscious recognition. Sometimes, because I recently learned a term very interesting. It's called, I think it's similar to when we scrolling the social media, right? If you use TikTok, you would just like watch a video and then just mindlessly scrolling through it. Similarly, they have a term. It's slip in my mind right now. It's similar, right? Like when we interact with ChatGPT, we put a prompt, right? Maybe we're conscious about at the beginning what prompt we put in there, but as we interact with ChatGPT, as you might aware, at the end of the response, it will suggest, oh, should I do this for you, right? Or sometimes I would just say, then just kind of going through that. It become then after.
I think they call it a feedback loop.
Oh, feedback loop. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting because you were after a couple of kind of iteration or like half an hour or so, you start realizing, oh, where I started this conversation, right? So I think that just having those awareness kind of intention why you use AI, that's very important. And then the second phase is engage. It's moving away from fear, but to curiosity. How you can do that? A couple of things. One is to start small. We can begin with low stake experiment, right? Try like, for example, writing assistant, do some brainstorming or using it to summarize a long article, etc. Those are start with small steps. And then we can do is explore playfully, kind of think about how you can use it for something you never thought about or being creative. So that's kind of where you can do here. Like ask, for example, like ask what if question, right? You did something and said, what if I do it differently? Or what if I want to find a different solution? Those type of things. So really the goal here is not our outcome, but it's really understanding through the experience what the possibilities are. I was sharing with R.E.L.A.T.E earlier when we were starting to chatting. It's really every day when I try AI, I can find some very surprised discoveries because, oh, it can do it now. Like, for example, I think it just a couple of days ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, time goes really fast. ChatGPT launched a feature called Pause. Right now only available to pro users, so it's a preview. They're still kind of testing the idea, getting feedback, so they can evolve it. But that was a very powerful feature because now ChatGPT can do is when I was sleeping, it started to process at the back end what I have interacted with it, like what topics I asked him to research on, what are the things I look at it, etc. It started to processing that, and in the morning, it will share with me a list of things, things I might be interested in. So then I can just go through. Some actually is pretty good, and I also can ask it to, oh, maybe don't show me this one, focusing on something else. I can interact with it to fine tune what it shows up to me. And it opens a new kind of ways to use AI. And it started becoming really a very proactive assistant because it can help me go out there and discover things I never will be able to discover. So this is what I mean. We should try to explore it. Kind of being curious. Whenever you see some new features, try it. You never know what it will lead to. It's very interesting. And some of you may have resistance, right? So I think that case, I feel like you might just can try is to pause and then understand what underneath your resistance. Is it because you don't know it, or you feel like, oh, will I lose control of what I'm doing? So just kind of create a space to understand our emotion behind that can help. The clarity will drive around that will help us to actually recognize what really means. Then we can kind of reframe that, right? So that's kind of, I think it's very important. Okay, that is what I mean by engage. The more we interact AI mindfully, the more we understand both AI's capability and our own human qualities as well. So we can, because oftentimes we ask, what's the difference, right, between AI and us? There is very the uniqueness of humans. So then through that interaction, we'll start to recognize what's unique for the human, but also for ourselves, right? So that's very important for us to take this step. And the next stage is really learn. This is what I shared with you earlier, is to develop a comprehensive AI literacy. What I mean by comprehensive AI literacy, it's not only the functional literacy, understand what AI can or cannot do, how to do prompt, right? Context prompting, or and how to evaluate output critically. So those are all very important. I feel like most of the folks or people spend a lot of time on functional literacy because we treat AI as a tool, a technology. But actually, AI is not only a technology. It's a capability. We can kind of use it to expand, augment human capabilities. So in that sense, we actually need to understand some additional literacy. For example, ethical, right? Recognize what's its bias, considering its impact. Also question data sources and understand broader AI, the implication of AI deployment. Another element of the literacy is what I call emotional literacy. That is to manage our psychological response and also to kind of maintain our kind of the connection, human connection, and also making the connection with the AI. So that's kind of, I think it's also very important type of literacy we need to build. And each of those dimensions is reinforce the others. Like for example, technical knowledge without ethical framework leads to very dangerous applications, right? So I think there's those, like I would say, like the big concern of cybersecurity, AI security in this space, right? Was the deep fake, how your like image will be used to create those fake information, like will potential put your safety into risk or those kind of things, right? So we need to understand that, and also ethical understanding. If we don't have emotional awareness, sometimes can really create burnout, because we'll have the assumption, for example, we'll be more productive, right, using AI. What does that mean? Like if we have more time, do we do more work? It will cause burnout. How we can balance that to being emotional aware is very important. So that's why I was saying, like, really those different literacy is super important for us to learn beyond the functional. So this is the third stage. And the fourth stage is align. key question here is to understand, does your use of AI reflect your value or just convenience? I think this is probably the most challenging questions. In the AI world, we call it like alignment problem, right? How we can align the fundamental value AI is built on is aligning with humans. So to do good for human, not destroying us, right? So I think that's very, very important. On the other hand, we also should think about how the way we use AI, how the AI responds to our questions or prompts aligning with our value, and also how we're going to leverage the output from AI to amplify our value. So that's kind of super, super important. This is a couple of components of the values. I think it's important for human in general. I think in some of the, at least some questions you can ask while you interact with the AI. So I won't go into the details, but I think that will be helpful for us to think about those, some of the key values human think is important, or most of us think is important, how we should be validate that with AI as well. Okay. The fifth phase is trust. Trust is really built on transparency and the testing. So a couple of things I wanted to call out is how we can kind of really building the trust, right, with building our trust with AI. One is kind of like building appropriate trust in a couple of ways. So here I list 4 ways. One is test rigorously. What I mean by that is verify AI outputs before accepting them. So I think a lot of time, I think you might see in the news, some consulting firm actually deliver reports to the government, right? And then the government discovered actually there's a lot of kind of reference is made up by AI, and then the firm delivered the reports actually didn't do enough validation to discover that, right? So those are the things we should avoid. That's why I said it's important really to verify AI outputs every time and understand what's the patterns or what its potential failure look like. That's very important for us to develop and skill. And the second is to maintain human oversight, is to keep human in the loop, right? To kind of, especially for those very high stake decisions, so we can make sure the decision actually benefits the people or things are going to impact it. And then also demand transparency to understand how AI system make decisions. And so, because a lot of times, if we cannot explain it, we cannot trust it, right? Because there's like, why, how you come up with this decisions. One of the way I do it is after I interact with like, for example, ChatGPT, right? It gave me a response, especially those things I might not necessarily very familiar with, or the question or the things I wanted to work on is a little bit complicated. I would say, okay, tell me how you come up with this response. Then ChatGPT will start to, okay, tell me some of the key decisions or steps or things it did to come up with this response. So I start to understand, how it thinks, right? Sometimes it might not necessarily right. Then I have the opportunity to say, oh, correct this one. This is, maybe I'll try different ways, right? So the transparency give us the opportunity to discover what could potentially be wrong, and also opens another opportunity for us to be creative, may try different things, because sometimes we are so used to the way how we think. A lot of time we skip multiple steps, go to the conclusion, not being aware of the steps I go through. Now actually knowing the steps we go through, we start to actually can change the step we go through to finding new ways. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of the third.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, great. And also monitor continuously because AI system change every day. Every day I can find something new. And also if you are developing some solutions using AI, do kind of check those capabilities on a regular basis because AI evolves so fast. Sometimes it will break what you build or starting to behave what you don't expect it. So I think, like for example, when ChatGPT or OpenAI launched the GPT-5 5 model, it just actually turned down shut down all the previous model, and then the things people build start to break, right? So you probably saw news. A lot of people kind of wanted the old model back. So now that you go to ChatGPT, you can see I think the GPT-4o model is still there. So that's kind of, I think I wanted to kind of keep monitoring that. Okay. I think trust is super important. So we need to build this kind of trust with AI. We cannot totally outsource everything to AI, right? One of the things a lot of times, sometimes I hear people saying like, "Oh, now AI can do everything. Like, can I just build an agent, then it can do things for me, and then I'm retired. I can just kind of relax." I think no. I don't think you want that, right? If you outsource everything to the AI, um, we don't know what's the risk you're putting out there, right? You don't want to discover like something traumatic happen after a while. So I think that's kind of the key thing. Okay, so the last phase is evolve. The key question here is really, what do you want to become, or who do you want to become with AI? This is a very interesting, I think it's the ultimate question, because this is really help us to reframe everything from threat to opportunity. And so I think evolution isn't about surviving AI disruption. It's really about consciously choosing how AI shapes our growth, our capabilities, and our humanity. So a couple of things I want to call out. Really, I think we wanted to become like we want to change from unconscious users to conscious partners with AI. That means moving from passive consumption to more active collaboration, from just automation to augmentation, and from convenience, more intentional use. And then the second one is really from what I call it from either or to both end. This is really to embrace AI and humanity, efficiency and the meaning, technology and the value. So this is really will help us transcend in this AI, in the era of AI. The last is from follower to leader. So think about humanities. We're going to kind of become more like, if we can be making kind of those very conscious decisions, right? We'll start to be able to shape the AI development and also define where we want it to go. So we become a director to AI versus we're trying to keep up with AI and are trying to understand what's going on. So I think we'll become more mindfully using AI technology. So I think the goal here isn't just to survive AI, it's to co-evolve with AI. So I think it's really, I think right now a lot of attention is putting on, how we can make AI smarter, right? But I think maybe we could add another question or even lead another question is how we can make people more intelligent. So then we can partner with AI better. So I think that's kind of, I think the key thing we might want to shift our attention a little bit better towards human. Okay.
Real quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas on ways that we can make humans more intelligent in order to better co-evolve with AI?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's why I create this relay framework is want us to kind of take a more systematic approach to become more intelligent and interact with AI. Because if I maybe let me just flip back to the framework for a second. Because if you look at this framework, right, we just went through the 6 steps. I think it's not hard for us to realize we spend a lot of time in stage 3 to learn and also the functional literacy in step 3. So it's just like I won't say a tiny little, it's important, but it's just a piece of the overall pie, how we should be thinking about being a human in the era of AI, how we relate to AI. So that's why I want using this framework to help us to open to a broader picture, think about how we should be related to AI. Start with reflecting what we are using today and with the more intentional engagement and learn beyond the functionality, looking at how our emotional, ethically kind of relate to AI and etc. So that's kind of, I think that's a great question. To thank you for that, and to help to ramp up this framework. It's really give us a tool to be more intelligent with AI. So
Perfect. Thank you so much.
oh, this is a great question. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to stop me. I know I talk a lot, but it'll be great to kind of have this kind of very good discussion. So what I want to show you just an example. I think probably is also a good kind of add on to the answer I just shared, because this is what I want to show is the relay framework in practice. Just think about like this is took a artificial kind of persona and saying, okay, Sarah, right? Like how she can go through the 6 steps to make her more intelligent, how she interacts with AI. So let's say Sarah start with the like Monday, I just using like the weekdays as a step by step. So Monday, Sarah noticed she is using AI to write all her emails, right? And she has also realized she lost touch of her authentic communication voice and feels this kind of connected from recipients. I think you probably resonates, right? You can connect, can relate because of we use, I mean, at least myself, I don't write emails from scratch. I will just put in a couple bullet points and then ask AI to draft that for me. Oftentimes it can become like very not in my kind of specific voice, right? For example, I think what usually like AI could start with, say, I hope this email finds you well, right? Some people just don't say it. It's like weird, right? Like, but now if everyone use AI, then everyone see me email and say, I hope you find this email finds well, right? That's kind of a little bit weird. So put a little bit
I
personality.
think that's so funny you said that because that's actually part of my authentic voice. I like to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's funny. Thank you.
Yeah. Because that's if it's and because that if it's reflect your authentic self, that's great. And also sometimes the authentic voice, who you are, not necessarily all show up in the text. Because sometimes people can feel the energy what you put into the behind the text. So don't too hang up on the text. That is just an example. But I think as you write more, your personality, your voice will show up. So okay. Yeah. And so this is like first step, reflect, right? Sarah feel like, oh, she could be a little bit more kind of have her authentic voice show up. So then she starts, instead of avoiding AI, right? Because we don't want to say, I totally want to get rid of it. I will start writing emails and then it will take forever to write. I mean, how many emails you're going to write? So Sarah actually experienced using it only for drafts and then start to kind of revising with her own voice. So I think that's a good practice. And also she's trying to find a balance, right? Because some email is important. It's like to an important person, you want to deliver an important personal message. Then it probably makes sense for you to kind of even write from scratch. But some are just kind of business, like kind of say, let's for example, recap an email, right? Following the same template actually helps because people, it's predictable to people and know, oh, the recap from R.E.L.A.T.E will look like this, right? They know, oh, where to look for information. So it's really a balance by situation as well. So, and then, oh, did that show up? It didn't show. Oh, okay, yeah. It's freezes a little bit. So, okay, then it's really what Sarah did next is to learn. So she researched how AI language models work and understand their like a pattern match nature, etc. So what she can do is she can give some examples, right, of the emails she wrote before she feel like represents her voice. So as an example, through kind of through prompting, so she can kind of infuse that with AI. And then what happened is Sarah was to kind of aligning, kind of defines her value, right? She really wanted to authentic connections matter more than speed. So in that case, she can decide, okay, I use for AI for more routine communication, but write important message personally, as we just also talked about. So aligning personal value, what is important to her. And then what she did is we talk about kind of gaining trust or confidence on AI, right? So she tested her new approach with several emails and a valid approach like have AI assist to draft emails and then personal revise, maintain her voice. So she figured out the balanced approach to approach that. Okay. And then what she really continued doing, so she learned from that experience how she can partner with AI, right? Put her personal voice into that, value into that, at the same time also leverage what AI can provide to her, so she can apply the learning and continue evolve the relationship with AI in other space, right? For example, in addition to writing emails, writing like business proposals, writing PowerPoint, right? And those kind of things, it can kind of start to evolve to the other areas of her life and work. So this is just showing an example how you can apply the R.E.L.A.T.E framework in practice. Hopefully that's helpful.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Well, in my personal life, my authentic voice is usually people often think that I'm AI when I'm writing in my authentic voice. And that's the problem. I've been trying to I get confused when people conflate my voice with AI, and sometimes people will outright accuse me of using AI. And so it's been hard for me evolving with AI because I don't want does that mean I'm too generic and I maybe need to reevaluate my authentic voice? And what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Maybe tell a little bit more about how you feel about like the way you communicate, and also what's your reaction when you hear people say that to you.
So when I communicate with people, I try to be as professional but as warm as possible.
Okay.
So I say a lot of things like warm regards. I hope this message finds you well.
Yeah.
Um, and I try to. I also speak in a very passive voice. So and it's hard for me to speak in an active voice because when I speak in an active voice, it's often taken as aggressive. So I think over the years I've spoken in a very passive voice. Um, and what was the second part of your question, please?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what's your reaction, like how you feel when you
I
heard?
feel very offended because I feel like they're taking my humanity away from me. And especially in this day and age where anyone can recreate your image,
Yeah.
it's like how do I convince you that I am who I am and this is how I speak? It's
Yeah.
almost impossible now.
Yeah.
And so it's like for me to seem authentic, quote unquote, I
Yeah.
have to be inauthentic. So people will be like, oh, okay, she's a human being. And that's been my struggle evolving with AI.
That's interesting. So can I understand it's more like in the working environment, professional environment? Is that what you tend to be like that? So how about your interaction, your relationship with your friends, family, etc.?
So, okay, I guess I have a different speaking voice when I'm with friends. I'm more urban, if you want to say that. But when I am in school setting or in my professional setting, I use my professional speaking voice, and it
Okay.
seems like my professional speaking voice has been conflated with AI.
I think people, your case is not a like a rare case because there's news on news, right? Could be like a whole class was kind of criticized or kind of saying like using AI to do the homework, etc. But it turned out it's not, right? It's just a false positive of those AI detector tool. So I would say I think you did well is to I think you did go tell kind of discuss that with your teacher, right? This with
Of
your
course,
yeah. I think that's important. I think that's why in this kind of day and age, the integrity, ethical is very important. Um, Oftentimes it's like because I would say integrity, ethical, being ethical is sometimes not just like being in front of people, right? It's also kind of like what you do when no one's watching you. So I think first to make sure you feel like you doing the right thing. So that's super important. Give you a very strong foundation when you are judged unfairly or incorrectly. You have the confidence to stand up for yourself. So I think that's what I heard you did. And then I think the outcome of that,
absolutely.
yeah, outcome of that sometimes is not in our control. It's not just unique in the era of AI. In other cases, in the past, there could potential happen too, right? And I think, I mean, we do the right thing, and then the outcome sometimes it's not in our control. As this space evolves, hopefully, ideally, we'll have better way or clearer way to clear out those questions to help people to make better a more accurate judgment. So I think that's kind of I think it's really will be on us to do what think we are is what we think is right and be confident to stand up for ourselves in those situations.
And to your point about in the relate framework, I think that that's where that trust concept really shines because
Yeah,
implementing explainable AI is very important
yeah, yeah,
in distinguishing what is real from what is AI. We need to be able to have avenues for people to prove, okay, this video was taken without edit, without
yeah,
AI
yeah.
intervention of any kind, because we need to be able to protect our identities to some extent.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. And also, I think it's also important. I think because the AI tool and technologies become so kind of commonly available, right? And I think it gives us the ability to produce higher quality content or work. I don't think we should shy from using it. And then what we can do is say, okay, we can being transparent and share this is what I use to create this part. Like for example, the slide deck I used Gamma to create it, the visual, I really like it. So hopefully you like it. It just don't be
It's
shy about
wonderful.
thank you. Yeah, don't shy away from using it. But also I think a lot of the ideas is ours, right? What makes the idea stands out and be more visible, helpful to deliver the message. We can use AI in a higher quality. So I think that's kind of also important. Okay, great. This is also great question. Let me move on to because we're almost there. why I wanted to leave with you some of the concrete actions you can do to leverage the framework. So I don't want to overwhelm you with the whole framework, right? Go through the 6 steps is a lot. I would say you can choose to one of the elements you can practice this week. Just like yeah, I think what I put a reflect prompt here is really like which one feel most relevant to you where you are right now and where you think you should be. So that could be a very good starting point. I'm not sure if you have any thoughts about like which elements is kind of feel strong for you at the
The
moment.
trust element, I've been studying explainable AI, so that's the one that resonates most with me. And
Okay.
with my experience and uh, the way that I've interacted with AI, that's the most important one for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great one. And I really looking forward to in the future to discuss that piece more with you because I think it's what you said is be able to explain right how AI works, how you come up with that will help a lot because that especially in those very critical space like a kind of discover new science kind of findings, etc. Right, for us to be able to validate is it really helpful and whether that means to impact the society, etc. Being able to do that definitely very helpful. Okay, yeah. I think it's some suggestions. Commit just one practice, one area, and schedule it on your calendar so you can have set a time to do it, and also share it with people so we can kind of have accountability and that creates momentum and then reflect on that. I think reflection, I would say, in the era of AI, become more important. The more we can reflect, the more we can kind of kind of generate consciousness of how we interact with AI. So that's kind of just wanted to leave some last thoughts is yeah, we don't need to fear AI's rise. We need to rise with it, like to really from resistant to partnership and to fear to co-creation and from passive or intentional actions. So I think every choice we make about how we relate to AI is a vote for the future we want to create. And I truly believe each of us here, each of us on this planet, as we interact with AI, when we make those choices with consciousness, curiosity, and commit to our values, we can eventually have AI to help really make this world a better place, make humans really flourish. So okay, that's what I have for today, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to start this journey with you. I think beyond today, the journey will continue and continue for I don't know for going into a long kind of future. And if you want to stay connected, this is my email address, LinkedIn profile, and also this is the link to subscribe to my newsletter. If you want to, I do share regular news updates about the market, so you can stay up to date of what's going on in the market with me as well. So really appreciate that for the opportunity, and I want to maybe use the remaining time to see if I can answer any questions.
There are no current questions right now, but I do want to thank you very much, Julia, for sharing the Relate framework with us. And I personally resonate with this framework. And like I said earlier, the trust aspect and the align aspect particularly resonates deeply with me. So I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Okay.
And for people who aren't here, we'll be sharing this on YouTube.
So that's great. Yeah, I really appreciate about this opportunity for me to share some of the perspectives. Hopefully, give you some ideas, inspiration, how you can continue this wonderful journey with AI in the future. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you send me the slides so
Yeah.
that I can share it? Okay, perfect. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Julia. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.